You are here representatives of the loving community that Dad so admired, believed in, and strived to contribute to. Thank you for your lives and the spirits that you represent and who provided the inspiration and the support that made Bill Patton's life so rich. Dad would humbly say, thank you to each of you. But behind his eyes, you would see and feel the words, I love you dearly. For Dad had passion for love. And when you had Dad's focus, simple words felt profound. I am here with Kristin and with Will, who, like me, have had an extraordinary life growing up with Dad. He taught us much about planting good emotions of love and gratitude. In his boy's eyes, he was also a man of strength, surprise, and calmness. With Dad, I grew up certain that he would always care for us. The peace and freedom that comes from knowing that he was perpetually making preparation and worrying the details gave license to explore, to take chances, to truly live. Strength. Dad liked individual sports, like skiing, gymnastics. He never learned a football play. He couldn't teach to throw a baseball, basketball. But he amazed me one day when he was 50, I was 15, and I was on the rope swing with a good friend of mine. He said, can you climb that thing? I said, sure, and started to climb up the rope and got about 30 feet of its 40 up the tree, and he said, let me try it. He grabbed that rope, he kicked his legs up in the air, and he went up upside down. He had strong arms. Surprises. Dad was full of surprises. Most people thought of the surprises as flowers, beautiful gifts, a nice note. But I remember going down to the theater one night and throwing a few rocks at Dad's window, and Dad came to it, smiled, and came down and unlocked the door, and I suggested it might be time to come home, and so he thought it might be good to do another round of the theater and maybe pick up some tickets that would be left in the stage manager's office in the Bomer. And so we made our way across the walk there to the Bomer, and Dad stopped several times to pick up cigarette butt, candy lapper, something. And we got into the Bomer, and he opened the stage house manager's door, and surprised two people. And Dad didn't say anything. We looked at the tickets there and the ticket bags, and he started checking the notes, and I was thinking, are they new here? And they went out behind us, and nothing was said, and the door closed, and we walked through the rest of the theater and went home. Calmness. We were driving the old truck called Horse, big old yellow truck, and the radio was in the top of the canopy there, and all of a sudden it caught a fire, electrical fire, and all the insulation started burning, and Dad was driving around down the road. He's looking up at the fire, smoke's filling. Pulls the side of the road, grabs those wires with his hands and snuffs them out. Start driving again. Again, his son was amazed, but I did see that he was putting plenty of salve on when we got home. Dad loved this church, and it was a calm place for him, and he often did fall asleep. But it was a place he wasn't and didn't have to be eternally active, and it was a safe place too. Some Sundays he did skip church and work out in his yard, and I remember learning the lesson of that when Dad met us at the door and had the size of a watermelon, and he'd been out spraying in the backwoods and hit a hornet's nest, and he was calmly soaking his wounds, and I made sure I was in church on Sundays. Dad had an extraordinary life, and we're so grateful for it, and so grateful to you and all those in the community that just made Dad's life so wonderful and rich. Thank you.
When I think about Dad, I think about his great passion. First, his passion for work, but then the thing about growing up, his daughter. And one of the deepest lessons that he left me with is that passion for what you do need not get in the way of passion for those you love. He worked so long and so hard, but we as family were never excluded from that. He shared that passion with us. I also think of his great gratitude throughout his life, but that was so strong toward the end and at the end of his life, and his humility. And I would just echo Kent, combining his passion, his gratitude, his humility. This is a rich time of thinking of the incredible, amazing roles that Dad played in our lives. But on his behalf, I thank each of you for the incredible, amazing roles you played in his.
I just have two very quick things. The first one is Dad, as you've heard, was a very, very humble man. And so he'd probably look out here today and also be amazed at the group in Calvin Hall and here in the choir and just say, don't you have any place better to be on a Friday afternoon? And the second thing is sometimes wonderful opportunities come out of accidents. And if you'll look in your bulletin today, you'll see that Kristin and Kent and I are up here doing family remembraces. Today is a time when we're certainly doing a lot of remembering and doing a lot of embracing. And so what I would encourage you up above in Calvin Hall, here in the choir, down here below, is to stand up now and give one another a remembrace.
A word of explanation for those gathered in Calvin Hall. That was a spontaneous remembrace. And we hope you joined in with us.